The Fraser Institute has just released a new study that says the phase-out of coal-fired electricity in Ontario has done nothing to significantly affect the air quality there. Now, the Fraser Institute tracked pollutant levels in the atmosphere over time, and they're saying something the government won't tell you. This is right from their report. The effect was not statistically significant in Toronto or Hamilton. We find no evidence that the coal phase-out reduced nitrogen oxide levels, which were instead strongly affected by reduction in U.S. nitrogen oxide emissions. It goes on to say that they find a statistically significant reduction in peak ozone levels from the coal phase-out, but that was offset by a significant increase associated with natural gas plant emissions. So nothing the Ontario government did made any real difference, and all they really did was replace one ozone emission source for another, while at the same time costing Ontario ratepayers billions and, plunging them into energy poverty. When former Ontario Premier Dalton McGuinty was trying to sell his failed Green Energy Act to Ontarians in 2009, he said his plan to get off coal and the cheap electricity it produces would save Ontario taxpayers money in healthcare costs, because the air quality in Ontario would be so drastically improved. The Ontario Liberal government actually told taxpayers that there would be a $3 billion annual saving in healthcare costs because of the reduction in smog-related contaminants. Now, have those healthcare savings ever materialized in Ontario? Well, I checked. In 2009, Ontario healthcare spending per capita was around $3,509 per person, and now it's $3,888 per person. It's gone up. Now, I doubt Ontario taxpayers are getting more healthcare for their dollar, but the government is certainly spending a lot more, so the phase-out of coal didn't save any money on healthcare costs. But why would those healthcare costs have ever materialized when now we know the changes to the air quality haven't materialized either? It was all just a bad excuse to pursue green energy at all costs. If the Liberals weren't going to convince you they were saving you from climate change, then they were going to scare you and convince you that they were going to save you from asthma and respiratory illness. So what does this mean for Alberta as the NDP plod along the same reckless coal phase-out road? It means we're going to get screwed, but we already knew that. The NDP are just going to plunder along, phasing out cheap, reliable electricity for really no reason whatsoever, except that their green socialist ideology commands it of them, and they're using the same old washed out excuses that Ontario did. Alberta Environment Minister Shannon Phillips said, and I quote, "We know that the emissions from pollution caused by burning coal have a negative impact on Albertans' health and is costing our healthcare system," end quote. But how does she even know that? Is this just some sort of belief? I just showed you the healthcare spending in Ontario. It went up after they phased out coal. And I checked this morning, the air quality index right outside the Genesee coal-fired electricity generating plant was a 1 to a 0, as in it can't get any better. It's great. So what deadly air pollution is Shannon Phillips trying to save us from? Phasing out coal didn't change the air in Ontario. It didn't save their healthcare system any money. And we know from Freedom of Information requests that the NDP in Alberta don't even know if their climate leadership plan will reduce greenhouse gas emissions because, well, they didn't even bother to study it. So what's the point? Oh yeah, it's a cash grab. That's it. Saving the earth is just their lame old reason they need to yank some more money out of your family's pocket. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Wherever some liberal or socialist government's bad green energy plans stand to cost your family money, we'll be there to report on it. Click the link below to never miss a story.